This day 1378 Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. One should be schus for Israel its war against our enemies in Machshmam. They were doing, you're there, Simon Mishmem Ches, Steve Test $2. Okay, Bir Divrei. This is about Yisraelim and Staka. Bir Divrei, an explanation of their words. The Git Tanya, Git Dafne base says, "Ein Abotropim Torming Umasim Mitvuas Yisraelim." The Abotropim, the guardians, do not take troops unless from the grand Yisraelim Rachmash Tzichem Lechol, only for that what they need to eat. For Tanya Sham also says they have Ein Poskim Staka. Don't require them good Staka. Ein Podim Alim Shvuim. Require them to deem captives. Well, call the Russian anything else which has no definite amount. I enjoy it. Well, it's quite clear. That's something which is a definite amount. The set amount. Given that we have. That which it says about Basi, you don't stipulate on orphans unless you in order to make them appreciated. Where there is no set amount. Come for a beginning. That seems the language of Ein Poskim. You don't set aside a new amount. You have to make a new assessment. Tampo should be simple. The need Yisraelim cannot be compelled to do a mitzvah. That's so you don't assess them with newt stocker. They must be prosem. We don't meister their fruit kind of meister or if it's a meister. Come up, agam labne averinu. Also don't want to do be avera. But tzaka shavir in the sun be here, and the tzaka their father gave in the city, but kupa, community chest, tamko in the soup kitchen, shai tzakas or krovim, and other types of tzakas or to relatives. Aloha chazikwan im b'schuzer. The Neim had our muksuk in this amount. The amount of loit we don't give them now. Harei osim avera doing avera. Kamodim asrim with tormei machet tzikim lechol. Teish lechol iser mosin lekoin. Just like we take shuvas and mices from that which they have to eat in order that they shouldn't do an iser. We give it to a kohen levi. It's the same thing. Therefore, the Ramah explains by tevel. He gives the analogy to tevel. Because that's what the Gemara does. That what you said in saying where there's a amount such as two relatives. Coming else a chiddush. Love me, boy. Because that same for tzedakah, which is set in the city. It's already been established as a pattern. Dan Shirkov said that the people say can compel us. I feel craving. And even to relatives, the orphans could say, our father went to give to them, but we don't want to give to them. Until they grow up, we do give to the relatives. It's a stipulated amount. That's because at time, not assume what you said that it's derogatory, you said not to give. It sounds like others would not give. Even though they'll be able to prevent the relatives getting stuck when they grow up. If they feel their father went over the top. Nevertheless, cause mentioning time as long as they're minors. The apotropos give on account of their honor, and it's similar to giving them appreciation. The bracket says here about look, remember those Achrayim say the Arukh HaShulchan is in the Ramah's camp. That what you said when we give for them in order that they be appreciated, it's permitted. Those who say the dafka you said b'nei shame. Those is the only time by some who don't yet have an established name. They are unknown. But they already have a good name. And they actually we shouldn't give stuck on their part to make them more appreciated. That's the Bach and the Shach. Focus this what the apotropos or man, he wrote Shalem shame. So says, I don't care if they have a good name or not. Shemalos and apotropos. That's a Shach. Shemalos who say that Dafka Shem Shemu flog him. You only give them a good name if they are very rich and they can afford it. That's the Bach. Shemalos say I feel animal flogging my Jews. Some say even they're not so wealthy. That's the Shach. You have some Asher Sheachole, a orphan who was poor, who was sick. The Nadra Pochopsin stuck up, and that Pochopsin pledged the cave, pledged to give stuck on his behalf. And Macy, someone then the orphan died. In Kvarnoslo, the Stuckers names already gave the money to Stuck or to the poor. Even though the funds are still extant, and of course the ocean will go back to the heirs. Most of these money also they gave it to the Gaboim. Whether after they took it, they said explicitly, we're acquiring this for the impoverished or the tzedakos. Then it remains. But if nothing has happened yet, like the Brahmins just said, "Oh, we're going to give tzedakah for their health," and then they died. So the heirs of the orphans impede this from happening since he died. It's a true in the name of the Marit. Yurav, Gabet Tzedakah, the officials in charge of the tzedakah, they cannot accept donations from women, from slaves, or from children more than a small amount. Not a big amount. Because we have to presume that since they don't have their own funds, this is money which is stolen from others. What's considered to be a small amount? Has to do with the wealth of the owner and or their poverty. But that's only by default. But the husband protests. I feel kosher also a small minute amount now to receive from them. Because the Seisha is a knas, if a woman has been fined some fine by the community, the husband has to pay it. It's a shock. Also anything that she pledged when she was still unmarried, the husband has to pay. Very the name of my Ramintz. And a woman who demands of a rich husband to give to relatives according to her wealth, I guess the wealth which she brought into the marriage. Well, it's not necessarily, as we're going to see in a minute. The husband can't protest. But therefore, this is astonishing. How can she give against her husband's will? Well, it's not even hers, evidently it's her husband's will. Now, female, she's been invited to see if you can give chaperone, but we shall see how it works out. The base. Cheshmish sim pay off in his bar. And Cheshmish to clarify the Mishnah, he's not mechel limod in Ben Chavir Torah, somebody who stipulated with somebody to teach his friend's son Torah. Bifnei of in front of the father, the friend himself. Then the silence is as acquiescence. And the father's got to pay. But if he hired the Malame not for the father, I'll be sure that the father doesn't have to pay, even though he is aware of the arrangement. That's by a third party making the arrangement. If a person's wife hired a Malame, live not for a son, I feel so fun if even if he's not around. The other means suck, and the husband knew about this when he made son. We certainly assume that he was okay with this. Chayil Hashem has got to pay. But he protests immediately when he hears about it. What she does is not avoid. But if she remains silent immediately when you're Chayil Hashem, yes, maybe can't protest afterwards. She knows in a sense and even if she is the evidently the main breadwinner in the house. So she is the involved in commercial activities. Young and close, but you can protest her because everything belongs to him. I highly recommend that no husband assert these rights in our day and age. It's not even clear that if he can, according to because Machus and other things, but theoretically, it doesn't work anymore, guys. You should know the age of the Ishak she asuka mitzvah lomes well, back then there were those who said that if the woman is the one who's involved in the commerce, we don't say that whatever she acquires, her husband acquires. So the Shneim Melech, the name of the Rashba and the Marit. Please name Isha goes Vadai Shrosh. Well, for that case, such a woman who runs the business, you can certainly take stock of. After lo Bria Landinze, even though it's not clear us if that's true, says Arukh HaShulchan. The Kamakali and stock of Shais Machlez. Birds of stock, you can rely on this and take from her as much as she wants to give, as much as she wants to give. The Daish know the Biyam Shalom Shili Bo Bakam because you're Ravanda in Bakam and Osha Filo Dover Merube. The rest of the Ravanda today we receive except women even a large amount. Today women are considered like the guardians of their husband's funds. I guess their husbands are like orphans. Oh, interesting, fascinating, smart. So writes about the law when she hires a teacher for her son. Obviously, that borrows she even though you don't know for sure that the husband knew. I mean, Mistami we assume he knows. I knew actually right unless he can bring evidence that he didn't know. I ain't chum. By the way, I once heard in a chasna a Rav speak, and he said that when he was introducing the Tanoim, and he said the Tanoim give equal governance on the property to husband and wife, because it says Yishlatu Nirchen Shaveh Shaveh Kilchas Guvin Yudoin, etc. So evidently, that might be in the Ksuv non I don't remember offhand, but in any event, Yishlatu saying Shaveh B'Shaveh is indicates joint jurisdiction, and could be that Tanoim is effective for that because part of the reason Tanoim were written to make sure that the wife doesn't get shortchanged on the dowry she brings into marriage. So it's quite possible. Although these laws are perfected by the Tanoim, people don't think are aware of that, but it makes sense. You can is like the came kaima, so this way Arukh gives his explanation. Came kaima kufna tzaka, since we compel people to give tzaka. Shabbos razi adua she'en lo kufna. But then, the other we know that we don't have the authority to compel. If there's a rich person who is a miser on a skinflint, the woman, the wife gets stuck without his knowledge. She can't be the judge of this. But the rabbi, Omer Law, says to her, to the wife, based on his wealth, if we would have the authority, compelled to give such amount, you only think the wife can give it that amount. Okay, we can't force him directly because we have all the government restrictions, but we can authorize the wife to force him. That's amazing. Great. So again, why should we words that we can't force him? Let's see if we can still, but another way, extracted tzaka, which is a chayiv to give according to the law. Even though normally we compel somebody, it's on their cognizance. Kind of shlomi don't hear, he doesn't know about it. Since it's required to give this amount, we just don't have the technical capacity to compel him. The obligations about him, and we judge us based on his obligation, and we'll take it any way we can get it. But I saw sort of go to forbade this. Maybe his day and age, the basin still power to compel the husband, so therefore they wouldn't go through the wife. But it's no longer true. If he's asked to shop in Mashik Shen, so see if you have, according to this, it makes sense. It said the end of Sif Yudav, what we asked, Lina Krovella, in terms of relatives, Shani Yochalim Chos Biyada, that he can't protest. And we said, how did you compel against the will of her husband? No, that works so good. Something which she's required to do anyway, she can compel him to do it. And besides that, it's clear that any woman who says her husband gave her permission to do something, we believe her. Ben, the says Ben she'ochel etz aviv, a son who eats by his father, or a slave who eats by his master. He can give a loaf of bread, slice of bread to a poor person, or to the son of his friend. There's no concern of theft. That's about him do. He does have to show the comments and Sefton above a comment. That says different version. I know. Those same Pruso live no Vito Avdoshal Avo. He gives bread to the son or daughter and the slave of his friend. That's to be concerned with Aisha. Nishim Nusla Turashurach Muvesh said Nusla Turashurach is more clear. Mordechai Perakad of Basra, Haven the Sussman trying to bring his head Nusla. Zaminag, from this comes the Minag, Shem Shogay, some Shogay, based on Abais, that the servant or the maid in the house of the householder, no steam pusalai, they give a slice of bread to a poor person. If you should get a minute, that's the custom. And came by smoking them unless the boss protests. Does ain't lam lead, and then they should give him. Mordechai Shom maybe owed me Maseches Derech Eretz Perak Test. Orchim and Nichnosi it's a Bais. Guests who come by to a Bas. Ain't a Shem Litain Ben Bais or after Shiv Chaso. They can't give anything to the son or the servant, male or female of the Bais unless they got permission of the Bais. It's just something with the Tosef. It's not contrary to the Tosef. The Shem there's something else. Shem Ela Bais Litain Zulas. Ela Bais Litain Zulas Mashnasan Lifneim. Maybe the Babas only has to serve to his guests what he put in front of them, so we don't want him to give. They're not allowed to take what he gave them and give back to his sons and daughters. And on account of embarrassment, no, sorry. So Busha got to Sakara. I'm not sure what it is. Who's Sakara? I'm not getting the scenario. I guess it's over the other case. In other words, you shouldn't put the guest now to give to the guest can't give to somebody else's son. I don't really understand the scenario here. I'm just not getting it. Anyway, Zuz Mashlan say Nea Busha Yavo they scored on account of embarrassment they'll come to danger. Saib Shabu Zagam Kim Chulin, but they'll come Sadak, much because of Barachaim, some Simon Kufai, Aisha. Emerson Yesh Arbel Shu, I mean it's clearly referring to the case where the guest gave his food to the son of the Balbus, and he had an egg in his mouth, egg in his hand, whatever, and the father came and hit him, taking food away from the guest, and therefore it's a sakana, because the father's going to see this and he's going to hit his kid. Then the mother went to commit suicide. It's a terrible situation happening. I guess that's what it's referring to. As there's a lot on the table. Rashon Litain, they can give. We're going to have Rob. Certain Mashia there, Shish Balbais Malitain. And the seven said also the Balbais knows that he knows that Balbais has what to give. You look at Vada Sudachayv Komim. Otherwise, it's Usser. Because his life comes first. I'm not sure again what the life comes first. Maybe that the guests Chaim come first, and once he's allocated that food, it's got to stay by him. Not clear to me what it means by this. Okay, Tesla. Well, even though Tesla is really for tomorrow, but let's finish this. It's a short stiff. Tesla. Ish nati b'yoyser. A person is very generous. You know, since talking Yosem Kvichoto, he's talking more than he can afford. Which may tell lots more. He puts himself in an affliction. Thus, the Gabe gives to the official Kadeshal is bad, showing not to be embarrassed. Also, Tovo, you're forbidden to demand of him money. He's meant to collect from tzedakah. The Gabe shemachlima, a Gabe who embarrasses him, and show menu and asks him to give. Also, the Akash Baruch was going to take retribution from the Gabe. Kachamru Chazal, that's what Chazal say. The seat is that says that says the Yimyo Lamed. I'm going to visit a punishment on all the oppressors. We got tzedakah collectors, shalosim lanosim, who compel the giver, litain to give, and he's not affluent enough to give by himself. Because himself, he's suing his back. Somebody wants to merit for himself. Somebody wants to acquire merit for himself. He should subject his Torah and expand his hand and bring karbanos when he brings them from the best and the most praiseworthy of that species from which he's bringing. I remember it says Hevel, by Hevel at the beginning of Bereshit, he brought from the firstborn of his sheep and their best fats. And Shem paid attention to Hevel and to his korban. For the anything which you give from the name of Hashem, Shem may not know she from the good and superior. In Bana based tefillah, if you build a shul, no based shul, it'll be nice and it should be nicer than your house. Hechel Ravim, if you're eating, give poor, hungry people eat. Yachim Ratov Amatok Shemachar, give them the best and sweetest on your table. Kisar Mim, if you're giving clothing to people who need it. Chasen Yavash Vizuz, use the best clothing at your disposal. Iktish Davar Yaktish Yavashim Nechazu. You can play something Yaktish. You should get the best of your stuff. Omer Chol Chelev, all of the best. Lashem Hakan Shalom. Chol Head Varim Yaseh. When you give tzedakah like this, you should do it by Yafeh Ufalev Samech, with a good eye and a happy heart.